And indeed, here we go with another edition of Real Fellas Talk Sports. I'm David Burnett. And I'm joined by the fellas, and we're going to talk a lot about March Madness. And of course, I'm in a mad town of Indianapolis where the Final Four will be held for what the 20th time, something like that. Anyway, let's introduce the fellas. Chuck Snowden, how you doing?
David, I'm wonderful. Can't wait to get into the show. Tomorrow should be a national holiday, as you know, and I can't wait to really cut it up and review it and see what everyone thinks.
Larry Abels, how are you?
I'm good, David. How about yourself?
I'm doing wonderfully well in the sports capital. Greg Fenner, how are you?
Good evening, Real Fellasville. It's only one song that even gets close to our theme song, and it's da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Well, thank you for that. All right. March Madness is here. This is the best week of March Madness. It's not even close. We can sit back and watch games for 5 days in a row.
Love it. God, I love it.
Let me start with you, Chuck. Your thoughts on the seeding, any surprises, any snubs?
You know, I guess, okay, so the people in these conferences like the SEC and the Big Ten, and they're 9-11 in the conference, and they felt like they got snubbed, they can go, never mind. But no, I don't want to hear it from them. I don't want to hear it from them. I think they are, it's ridiculous that you're 9-11 in your conference and you felt like you got snubbed because you didn't get in. No, I don't like that. So people like Auburn, and I don't like that whole Pearl family. I don't like his son, don't like his father. So I'm glad that Auburn's not in. The hell with Auburn.
That's one thing we agree on, Chuck.
Right. So
the Pearl family.
I think St. John's, who's a 5th seed, they won the Big East. They won the Big East tournament.
And beat
Purdue
Connecticut
is tied,
twice.
hold on. Purdue is tied for 7th in the Big Ten. They're a 2 seed. And St. John's is a 5 seed. So I think they got seeded inappropriately.
Or you're showing your IU bias now. Anyway, Greg Fenner, how you doing? What do you think?
I'm great, man. Listen, I had to go get checked out, once I had this thought, because I couldn't believe I was actually agreeing with the NC2A. They got it right. I think they got it right. I mean, I'm looking at the seeds and I'm looking at everything that they put together. And I'm like, you know what? If you think you got snubbed, play better, get a better record. If you think your seeding is not as well, win more. If you think you shouldn't be in a playing game, beef up your schedule, play better teams. I mean, I'm telling you, this is the first year that I really think they got it right. As far as St. John's, it's funny you mentioned St. John's. That is a sneak. I bet you Rick Pitino is thinking to himself, thank you. I will be like the fox in the hen house on this one, because I really think they're a really good team. I don't like him. I think he's as crooked as the Pearl family. They should all be in a family picture together, right? They're all crooks. But I'm telling you, he's put together something special at St. John's. That's a good team. That's a good team.
Larry, you're the voice of reason. Let's bring some reasonable.
I generally agree with them other than the personalities. I don't care about either the coaches one way or the other, but their analysis about the teams, I generally agree with them. The only thing that I don't like is I don't like conference champions having to play in a play-in game. I think it should be one of the at-large teams. I think if you get an automatic bid, you should be automatically playing Thursday and Friday.
That is so reasonable. That's just too reasonable. You know what?
Some teams are 18 and 12, and they don't have to play in the.
It's a great point, Larry. A really good point. So, for example,
I think, yeah.
So last night, Texas played
North Carolina State.
Yes. So that's how it should be. Those 2 guys were near the bottom of that conference. They should play each other.
Well, that speaks to the argument that many coaches now are having and other so-called experts about expanding the tournament. expanding the tournament to like 96,
But
and have four sites like Dayton
Right.
kind of playing in, because that wouldn't change the timetable at all. It would still be 3 weeks. What do you all think on that?
I think they'll just still be trying to get more of the larger schools more money, just like when they expand the football playoffs. It's not going to open it up to the smaller schools. I think the conferences that are making all the money, they'll just grab even more money. Back to what I was saying, Howard won their regular season and their tournament. All right.
Yeah.
They still had a playing game. And there's some teams that are, 19 and 12 and stuff like that. I don't know why they wouldn't be in a playing game.
Well, real quickly on Howard, keep in mind, this is the first NCAA tournament win that they've had.
Right, because they always face the number 16 seed every time they're in there.
Well,
It's 3 HBCUs in there. 2 of them had to play playing games. Tennessee State is the only one that didn't have to play it, and they're number 15 seed. But, I think, I could even go further, and I might even suggest that the ones that get the automatic bids should get the top 32 seeds. That way, the lowest seed they will be is a number 8 seed, and they still probably would have to play what's comparable to what's currently a number 2 seed now if they switched it up like that. But when you play the number 16 seed, no matter what school plays the number 1 seed, if you're number 16 seed, your record ain't gonna be any good.
Greg, do you agree with that?
Hey, David,
I really do.
I'll get
Go
to
ahead.
you. I'll get to you, Chuck. I
right.
promise.
I really do. I think that, the more I think about it, what the voice of reason is saying is just totally legitimate. If you win your conference and your tournament, you should have you shouldn't be forced to prove yourself yet again that you should be in the tournament. That's you've already proven that. So yeah, I agree with that. And it's just there's nothing to add to that. That's a great perspective, Larry.
Chuck, your thoughts?
I was going to say Miami. Look, I think they're going to lose tonight against SMU, right? I think they're going to lose. But they went 30-0 in the regular season. Yes, they didn't win their tournament, but they were 30-0 in the regular season. Why should they have to play a playing game? And they will. And they're going to lose.
Well, why do you think they're going to lose against SMU?
SMU
SMU has lost 13 games.
Yeah, but the SMU is so much better than any team that they played on their schedule this year. It's not even close. Well,
I don't know about that.
Well, David, you can see me after the show, David, if you feel stronger than the
The justification was the strength of schedule. That's what when I watched the show after the selection show,
right.
They talked about the strength of their schedule, and I agree to a large extent. Their strength of their schedule might be a little wanting. I mean, they may need to play a little bit tougher schedule, but 32-0, that's a lot of games. That's a lot of wins.
I think that's a pretext for putting in some of the schools from the larger conferences that
Thank
didn't
you.
do well against their competition in the larger conferences, but they can say they played a tougher schedule.
The strength of schedule argument is kind of manipulated, because if you don't play certain schools that are perceived as better, you're not going to get a higher strength of schedule. Any team in the Mid-America, I'm wearing my Ball State hat now.
Yeah.
We haven't done crap in about 30 some years, but we almost beat UNLV the year that they won the national championship.
Sure.
So the MAC does have players, and and I think the strength of schedule is a manipulated argument to keep the big schools in. Do you agree, Larry?
Yeah, that's really what it is. And the thing that I'm really glad Miami got in, because a lot of the weaker conferences, a lot of times they have one team that's really good, and that team doesn't win its championship. So then, a weaker team gets in, and I'll just throw Prairie View out there. I think they finished 6th or 7th in their conference, but they ended up getting hot for the tournament. Sometimes a regular season champ, like in Miami's case, really deserves to be there, and they won't get a shot. And they, this is the year that they have a decent team.
Remember, Howard beat UMBC last night. Let's go back a couple of years. UMBC was a 16th seed. Never before had it happened. They played UVA, which was the number 1 seed, and they beat them.
Yeah, it's happened twice in
They
history.
beat them by 20. They beat them by 20.
They
They
beat the heck
dusted
out of
them.
them.
It can happen. It can happen. You know, the funny thing is, if these guys were playing on the playground and weren't wearing the college shirts, it would all be even.
Yeah, even
It
Steven.
would, it would all be even. Anyway, let's move to any first week shockers. Any prediction on a first week shocker? Let me start with you, Chuck. No, let me start with Larry. Sorry.
Okay.
I don't have any. I'm just sitting back, just waiting for things to get started. I know it's going to happen. I have no idea who it's going to be though.
Well, what does your bracket say?
Ah,
I haven't even done a bracket.
Now, do we believe that? I don't know. Well, the voice of reason doesn't lie.
That means I won't. That doesn't mean I won't do one. I just
he
haven't
hasn't
done
done
it
it yet. He hasn't done
Yeah.
it yet.
Okay, Chuck.
I think again, I'm riding the St. John's horse, meaning this. They've got to go up. I think they'll win their first game, and then they've got to play the winner of Kansas, whoever they play. And I think they're going to knock Kansas off in the second round. I think they're going to go down, even though Kansas is a higher seed. And I think because Duke is a little damaged right now with their point guard and the big center, St. John's might be able to get Duke in the next round. So I'm keeping an eye on St. John's. I really am.
Greg.
Okay, so if you look at the East bracket, I got St. John's. So nothing's happening. Nothing. I don't think anything tumultuous is going to happen in the first round.
Right.
But you get to that second round, that's where the poop hits the fan. That's where it all starts to unravel. I got St. John's beating Duke. Duke is wounded right now. They're wounded and they're going to get really tested. Kansas, St. John's will beat Kansas. Kansas is all over the place. St. John's, they come at you hard. UCLA is a team to watch. I'm telling you, UCLA, those boys get down. I actually have them beating UConn, getting to a game with Michigan State, and UCLA and St. John's playing to get to the Final Four. I got St. John's going to the Final Four in that bracket. That's going to be the most interesting bracket. That's the toughest road, I think, to the Final Four. That bottom bracket, Florida should not be. I don't know who should be the 1 seed, but Florida is not overwhelming. They're not.
They're defending national champions.
They are, but those guys are gone. And I gotta tell you.
And by those guys, you mean Walter Clayton Jr.
Yes, that guy is gone. And I rode his back. I won 3 pools last year. I rode Walter Clayton's back like Seabiscuit last year, man. That guy won me over $400. So yeah, I'm a Clayton fan. But I just think the second round is where the stuff is going to start to unravel. First round, not so much. And I'll tell you, a 5th seed, between the 5th seed and the 11th seed, there's not that much difference. Those teams, once you get in that range, they're all really good. And but 1, 2, 3, they're elite. But once you get to 5 to 11, they can kill anybody. They're dragon slayers. But that 12 to 16, most of them they're going to be gone pretty quickly.
Is there any big team that's going to lose early? And who would that be, Chuck?
So again, keep an eye on Duke because they got 2 starters. Their point guard and their center is out. And unless they get back quickly, which I don't think they are based on what I've researched on it, I think they're open to go down. So keep an eye on that situation. BYU, who I liked most of the year, and they had the guy AJ Deontra, the guy I think he's going to be the first, second, or third pick in the draft. They're pick. Really good, but they're a player with the headband. I can't remember his name, but he's hurt, and he was a big part of their team. So that's what's happening too. There's some teams that are in this tournament, they have injuries, and that's going to affect how they play in this tournament. And they're going to come up against some healthy teams or some teams with maturity, like Purdue. Purdue is healthy. They're mature. I'm not a fan, but they got a shot. Purdue's got a shot to get to the Final Four.
Well, a lot of people here in Indianapolis are hoping that Purdue, unlike Butler, which had a chance to do that 15, 16 years ago, win at home. I haven't heard any of you guys talk about Michigan. Michigan and Duke have kind of seesawed back and forth between 1 and 2 all season long. What do you think about Michigan? Let me go with you, Greg.
So I got Michigan getting to the Final Four, but getting bumped off by Arizona. I think Michigan is going to I think they're going to just, their size, they're going to just overpower a lot of people. I don't think they shoot the 3-ball well. I think they defend well. I think they limit teams to one shot very well, but I don't think they shoot very well. And once you get down to that Final Four, you got to shoot the 3-ball well. And that's where I think Arizona will get them.
Larry.
Haven't seen Michigan but a couple of times this year, and the last time was against Duke. Underwhelmed me there. I'll be able to give better next week. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm just getting started with this college stuff, but I have to see them play a little bit more. I don't have confidence in them right now.
Chuck.
What's up, Michael Van? Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate that. Now, we know how you feel about Georgetown, so you hate every other team in the Big East. So that's why you take. That's why you
What's up, Van?
Well, that explains it. Okay.
So I saw Michigan the other day. Who did Michigan play in the? Purdue in the Big Ten final, right? Yeah. And then I saw them, like Larry said, against Duke. I've been hearing a lot about them. I've been seeing a lot of highlights of them. But when I've watched the 2 games that they've played, I just wasn't impressed. So I think Michigan's going to get knocked off by Alabama in like the 2nd or 3rd round because of that speed and Alabama's ability to score and get up and down. I think they're going to get them. I just wasn't impressed with Michigan when I saw them lose to Purdue. And when
I kind of agree with that. I haven't been impressed. They struggled against Duke. If you can't beat Purdue,
neutral court.
Purdue is beatable this year. Purdue is very beatable this year.
I tell you else, I think Michigan has got to watch. Michigan could end up playing Iowa State, and Iowa State could be the sleeper cell in this whole thing. Iowa State's a pretty good basketball team.
Now, hasn't Iowa State though won most of their games at home and struggled on the road?
Yeah.
They had some injuries too, and now all those injured guys are back. So they're back to being pretty damn good.
They're tricky. I'm telling you, they're tricky.
What is that? The Big 12? That Big 12 conference
Big 12.
basketball is legit.
Yeah.
I think there's the second best conference in basketball, actually.
Second best?
Yeah, second best this year. I think
they might be the best.
They might be.
They might be the best.
I don't know why
they struggle this year.
Let me ask you guys a potentially controversial question. Should they eliminate conference championships? I'm kind of in favor of that. Football and basketball. I think they just kind of muddle things up. What do you guys think? Chuck, your thoughts?
I think there's obviously money, and I think that alumni of these schools who love to go to their conference tournaments, it's kind of cool on a lot of levels. But I will agree, that's a lot of basketball, isn't it? They play a regular season, then they got an intense tournament, then they got to get into this tournament. It's a lot, but that's what they've been doing for years. So I'm not opposed to it. I kind of like the conference championships.
Larry.
I have no problem with it, and especially for the conferences that are not getting 1,000 teams into the big tournament. Very good for the alumni, and it raises a lot of excitement for the fans.
Yeah.
Well, the one thing I saw when I watched a number of the conference championship games, not necessarily the top tier like Big Ten, SEC, were empty stands. There were no people there. Greg, do you agree with that?
So I struggle with eliminating the conference tournaments. And you're right. There's always some empty seats in these tournaments until you get to the marquee games, right? When the low, and that's probably the best argument for it is when you're with the lower seeded teams, those teams, this is the reason why some football programs don't get chosen for bowl games. They don't travel well. So if they don't travel well, they don't bring money with them. And that means you're probably not going to get a bowl game if you don't travel well. But conference tournaments are the birthplace of Cinderella. That's where she was born, right? suck all year, win your tournament, get in the big dance, and all of a sudden that damn slipper fits. All of a sudden, that slipper fits. And so I think for that reason, we probably won't see him. I wouldn't miss tournaments at all. I wouldn't, because I barely even watch any of the tournaments.
Right.
I'm waiting because the regular season, that is proof of endurance and solid play over the full year. That's why I have more respect for the conference champion than I do the tournament champion.
Yeah.
Oh, good points. Good points. Even though
I'll tell you, David, there was a time
go ahead.
in the 80s, for example, when the Big East was like that. So you would go up to New York City and St. John's and UConn and Villanova and Georgetown and all of those fan bases, because the East is packed right there. Boy, there'd be fights and solidarity. It's a show. And
I worked at Xerox in the 80s. During Big East tournament week, it was at least 30% of our workforce was gone. They don't even look for them.
Our friend Mr. Abels, he loves the CIAA, right? I bet you there weren't a lot of empty seats there, were they, Larry?
It was more than usual the last couple of years, but I think a lot of it is they start their tournament to me too early in the week.
Right.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times the students, their championship game is on Saturday. I think by moving it back to Sunday, they would get students will come Friday when it's like 8 teams left. But as it moves on, a lot of students don't come.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you guys this. The college player of the year. I see two guys.
Yep.
One of them I don't like that much, Cam Boozer, who was unanimous All-American, and AJ DeBonsa, BYU. I got DeBonsa, and I'm hoping he gets picked by the Pacers. What do you guys think? Larry, let me start with you.
I don't have one yet. I'd like to revisit this in a couple of weeks.
Okay. Chuck.
I like Cam Boozer as a college player, and I think he deserves to be the college player of the year. I do. His body of work, every big game, he's there. He does his thing. He bullies everybody. His high school, his middle school, he's had success everywhere he's gone. He's had a hell of a college season. I think he deserves the player of the year. But my favorite player, who I like the most, and I like AJ, is Darius Acuff from Arkansas, the point guard from Arkansas. He's from Detroit. He's a freshman. He's built like Vinny Microwave, back in the day, that guy, staunch, a solid 6'2", but he reminds me of Isaiah Thomas. He can pass, he can score, he's tough. You cannot speed him up. I don't care if you send two at him, it don't matter. I love that kid, and he might be able to lead Arkansas through this tournament. He's that good. I like him a lot. So everybody who's listening tonight, if you don't take away anything, take that name away, Darius Acuff Jr.
Greg, who are your candidates for player of the year, or do you have a specific candidate?
Yeah, so Cam Boozer, I'm really kind of nauseated at how the narrative gets hijacked and it gets controlled. Cam Boozer is obviously a solid player on an elite program, blue chip program. He's carried that team when he needed to, but I'm telling you, I'm with Chuck. Darius Acuff is something special. I tuned into a game that was hyped to be this big game at Arkansas, and I think it was I can't remember who they were playing. It was supposed to be a big game, and Arkansas got blown away. But I started watching Darius Acuff. I'm like, who is this cat? And I've been watching him ever since, and I'm telling you, they just don't, because they're not a blue chip program like Duke, they don't get the spotlight that he doesn't get the spotlight that Cameron Boozer gets. But I'm telling you, this boy is the real deal. You know who he reminds me of, and you guys can relate to this, that damn Quinn Buckner, man. He's strong. He's built like a football player. And he's got great feet. He can do everything, and he's a freshman. And Mr. Calipari, he's the one. That's the once and done land, right? So he'll probably be in the NBA next year.
No
So
doubt.
I like
But
Calipari.
you make
Let me
a good
comment on
point
that.
about. Go
Let
ahead,
me
Larry.
comment on that for a second. I'm anxious to see this guy play. I'm hearing you two talk about him. I've heard him compared with Allen Iverson, Damian Lillard. You guys are giving me even more people. So I'm really anxious to see him play.
Larry, he's
But
special.
isn't that what actually hurts college basketball? You got a player like you guys are championing.
Yeah.
You're only going to see him for one season, and the great players. I think the entire first team All-American team is freshmen. You don't have a chance to really grow your viewership and appreciation of their talent. Would you agree with that, Chuck?
Yeah, there's some of that, David. No question about that. All I would say to you is Magic. Magic was only in college basketball for a couple of years. Isaiah was only in the basketball for a couple
But that's a
of years.
couple of years.
I agree. So I agree with you. But there's a lot of riches across those hills, and they got to do what they got to do. So, but I agree with you. I wish these guys would stay a couple of more years. But
It would be interesting if Cooper Flagg was still in college this year.
Wow.
And he's supposed to really be a freshman.
Yes,
How about that?
and he should be a freshman.
Wow. Boy,
Wow.
Duke would be something. Yeah.
Let me ask you guys a question. And I know this is David's show, but when I saw Michigan, they had a big man that was pretty decent. And he wasn't a freshman, which kind of surprised me.
He's a kid that came from UCLA or
Yeah, unusual last name.
yeah,
I think from UCLA.
He's a
7'3".
transfer. He was dunking that thing backwards the other day. I saw.
Is he
I
going to
think
be one of the top draft picks?
I don't think so.
No,
Okay.
I don't think so.
He just had a good game against Duke, I guess.
Right. They have another guy though on their team. I hate to describe it this way. He's a black kid, a forward, and he has like a Polish last name or something, and he can really play. And that's the star on that team, Yaka Novic or something like that.
Well, they do have black people in Poland.
Might have been, yeah. Anyway, I don't think Michigan. I don't know. I'm not as big on Michigan after I saw them lose to Purdue the other
You're talking
day.
about Linda
Linderboard, that's him. That's the guy.
That's the guy I'm talking about. With the unusual last name. That's the guy I'm talking about.
He's
He's
not
played
an
well
honest
against Duke.
but he's not a center, I don't think.
No, he's
I
a
just said
forward.
a big,
He's a
big
forward.
guy.
Right.
He's a forward. Lindenborg is a forward.
Yeah.
That's the
All
guy.
right. Any last comments on the March Madness? Anything you guys?
Yeah,
are
my
looking
do
forward
not
to
disturb
tomorrow?
button will be on tomorrow from about 12 to about 12. Tomorrow.
I'll try not to disturb you.
You can call me all you want, but it's not going to be an answer.
Wait, in fact, I feel like I'm coming. I feel like I'm coming down with something now.
You don't have to go anywhere.
That's why I'm retired. What am I talking about?
On a bad knee.
Thank you.
That's great.
All right. And I'm not dissing the ladies, but we got to give them a little bit of play.
Sure.
The top seeds of the women's bracket: UConn, UCLA, Texas, South Carolina. Do you agree with that, Larry?
No problem with that. No problem with that. Now, there might be some other teams that I haven't seen, but I have seen all of those teams, and they look good.
Greg.
You know what? I totally agree. And I don't see how UConn doesn't run away with it. I will tell you, I'm biased. Ozzie Fudd is just, I can't get enough of watching her play. She's all that, man. The young lady is just incredible. And I don't see how anybody even get close to them.
All right, Chuck.
Washington, D.C., St. John's High School, AZ Fudd. I'm rooting for her too. And I think she was the player of the year last year when they won the tournament. She's tough, man. And so yeah, you know what's amazing about UConn, which is crazy, and David loves this kind of stuff. They are I think this is Gino's 24th Final Four, if he gets to the Final Four. It's his 24th Final Four. They've got 14 national championships. I mean, and they're undefeated again this year. It's just an incredible run. And I do also believe that Texas, UCLA, are very good, and Vanderbilt ain't bad. Vanderbilt ain't bad either.
Vandy's
So
good. Yeah,
right.
Well, we can't count out Don Staley's team.
Oh, in South Carolina. Yeah, sorry,
31
Lauren, I
and
didn't mean that.
I mean-
In South Carolina, obviously. Although they lost twice to Texas this year.
Yeah, they did. And they got blown out by UConn.
And against Texas, they just couldn't. It looked like they couldn't physically compete. I was like, wow, this is like watching the champ get knocked out, man. It's like, get up, champ, get up, champ.
All right. We talked a little bit of ladies basketball, but we're going to talk some more ladies basketball. The college game, I'm not still sold on ladies basketball at the college level like I am with the men's basketball. But what I am sold on is what happened with the WNBA. And I have a tentative handshake agreement. The new CBA, the salary cap is going up 7-fold. The Supermax, a woman can make 1.4 million versus what 250,000. The average salary is jumping from 120,000 to 600,000. The minimum salary that a lady can make in the WNBA now, if this goes through, is 300,000 versus 66,000 last season. Larry, your thoughts on what happened with the negotiation? It took a while. It was a question about whether the season might be impacted, but they came to an agreement. Larry, your thoughts?
I was glad to hear that. I mean, I know revenue sharing was a whole issue, and I really don't know how they are doing as far as revenue-wise, but TV contracts should help them out. There's no reason why they shouldn't share the money with the players.
Greg.
First of all, I'm incredibly happy for the ladies. So well deserved. But all we heard last year was, well, they don't make money. They're losing money. Where'd all this money come from all of a sudden?
TV
contract.
So that's good. But, there's the devil is down. And I just think there's still something smelly here for me. But I'm happy for them. They deserve the good money. And I watch them as much as I can. I'm trying my best to boost their TV ratings because they deserve it. And God, I'm doing my part, ladies. I'm working with you, ladies. I'm doing my part.
Chuck.
I'm glad for them too. You guys have summed it up perfectly. And shout out to I forgot the lady's name who's head of the union who plays for Minnesota because she was involved in this negotiation. There wasn't a whole lot of bad, stuff in the press back and forth to both parties. I'm just so proud how they executed it. Everybody seems to be happy. I think it's going to get ratified. And I saw what Asia Wilson said. Now if she gets the Supermax, she can, like you said, David, can get 1.4 million, which means our little buddy Caitlin Clark will be far behind.
About that.
Well, I saw something the other day that said when she was a rookie, I think she made, I don't know, let's pick this. I think she made like $70,000 as a WNBA player.
Right.
Nike paid her $28 million.
Well, she deserved that money.
Oh, I agree.
But you know who was like that for a long time in his career was Michael Jordan.
He didn't get paid. He didn't get paid to the end.
By Nike.
He got paid by Nike, though.
Yeah.
So Asia Wilson should make the most money in the league. She's how many times MVP? 3?
A lot. Best player, no question. At least last
No question. No, she's the best player in the league.
Right.
All right. Now, let's go to the NBA. A couple of items on the NBA. We're winding down the season, about 20 games left. But a couple of things happened in the NBA that are being rumored. Las Vegas and Seattle joining the NBA. Seattle out since 2008 when they moved to OKC. The Supersonics name, which should be returned. And the Vegas, we don't know what the name of that team might be. Let me start with you, Greg.
So now that gambling is pretty much legal for everybody but players and coaches, how can you not have a franchise in Vegas if you have any sports team? Right? It's the capital of everything. Everything's there, so you got to have a team there. And Seattle, the Seattle folks really got treated kind of dirty, right? Group bought the Supersonics. There was always a rumor that they bought them just to move them, right? So when they couldn't reach some mega deal with the local government, he said, oh, guess what? I'm going to move them. Where should I move them? Oh, back to my hometown, Oklahoma City. So that's a little fishy from the start, right? God bless Oklahoma City, but that's always been a little screwy. And Seattle, they loved that team there, man. That's a city that was heartbroken to see that team leave. So I'm glad to see them get the franchise. But Clay Bennett, yeah, he pulled a fast one on the NBA and the city of Seattle on that one. So,
and keep in mind the Supersonics beat the Washington Bullets in 1979,
downtown
the NBA championship.
Yeah,
and the Bullets beat them in 1978.
Yeah.
Yes, they did.
They were the two elite teams. They really were. For 2 or 3 years, they were the elite team.
That's the last time.
Larry, good retort back to David. That was good the way you did that.
Well, I wasn't dissing them. No. I mean, the Bullets were a good team. I mean, they went to the championship 3 times in the 70s. They had some great players.
It was a great time to be a Bullet fan.
Actually, I think they won 4 times, but I don't know.
That sounds right.
They lost to the Bucks early 70s.
Okay, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Yeah.
All right. Now, 4 teams from each conference who are doing well. Let me start with you, Chuck. Western Conference.
Well, I mean, this is the part. One quick comment about that you mentioned about those 2 teams joining the league ultimately, maybe in the 28-29 season. But they say LeBron is leading a group and Magic is leading a ownership group that they're going to compete against each other. There'll be others, I'm sure, that get involved.
For the Vegas franchise?
The Vegas franchise. They're talking about $10 billion is going to be like the starting point. And it'll be interesting to see if, like Michael, they got him in. It'll be interesting to see if LeBron ends up with that outfit in Vegas. But back to your point about the West, it's OKC, San Antonio, the Los Angeles Lakers.
I knew you'd say that.
And I'll throw Denver in as the 4th team.
All right. Larry.
I agree with Chuck, but I wanted to comment on the expansion as well.
Go ahead.
I'm happy for the 2 cities. I guess one team will have to move to the east. I'm guessing that's probably going to be Minnesota, even though Memphis is further east as well as New Orleans. But I think Minnesota is closer to a lot of teams, and those 2 are actually relatively close to each other for travel reasons. But I just wonder if the league still has some problems right now, i.e. so many of these teams are tanking. And that makes me pause for a second. Happy for those 2 cities. I just hope the league, I don't want it to get even weaker because we have some weak teams in that league.
Yeah.
Unlike football, which seems to be able to, teams get to rise up, even though I don't know, there's a few teams that are weak every year there too. Far as the 4 best teams, I'm going to agree with Chuck. Right at this point, those are the 4 best teams. I guess I could argue that Houston is better than Denver right now, but it is so close, and Minnesota's right with them too. But I'll go with the same 4 that Chuck had in the West.
Okay, great.
So back to the one point back to the expansion. It is rumored that Rich Paul is even going to sell Clutch Sports to be a part of the group with LeBron. Magic is a force of nature, right? But LeBron and Rich Paul, those boys got a lot of suction around the league, man. So that's I'm not for black on black crime, but I gotta tell you, this is gonna be pretty interesting. It's gonna be pretty good.
Oh, you bring up an interesting point. You bring up, both of you, 2 of you have said LeBron's name twice. Now, does that mean LeBron is about to retire this season? After this season, this is it?
I think he would have to if he's going to be part owner or majority owner. I think he would have to.
This season doesn't kick that. If this happened with the ownership,
they're 28, right?
Yeah, it's
Well,
2
if he
years.
got into the ownership
It's 2 years.
carousel, he'd have to step away
Yes.
from playing.
Yeah,
Right.
he had to divest of all. He had to divest all other interests.
Yeah.
But
But again, that's 2 years away, Davis. What I'm saying is, even if this isn't his last year, I guess next year would be his last year, you would think.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask, because I agree with you guys, OKC, San Antonio, Denver, and believe it or not, Chuck, the Lakers. Right now.
Right.
Okay, Eastern Conference, Chuck.
so let me get my phone on the.
Oh, I'm sorry.
the West. I got sidetracked. It's not your fault. It's my fault. I got sidetracked. I digress. But OKC, San Antonio, the Lakers, and I'm going to go with the Rockets. And it's purely coaching. I think the teams are kind of balanced, and I hate to go against Jokic because he's such a baller. But I'm telling you that I love Houston's coach. His coaching has gotten them a lot of the wins that they have.
Let me comment on that. And Greg, your point is valid. The reason they weren't on my list is I saw them the other day against the Lakers, and I saw them the other day against somebody else. They cannot close games. They cannot close games. And I think they did themselves an injustice because they lost their point guard at the beginning of the year, Van Vliet or whatever his name is.
Yeah, Van Vliet. That's a big loss.
Not addressed, like they went a whole year and didn't really, So the other day against the Lakers, they just thought they'd give the ball to KD and have KD close the game, and the Lakers blitzed KD, and KD didn't score. I think he scored 2 points in the fourth quarter because they just took him out. I just don't.
He scored 2 points in the second half.
Yeah, Chuck, you said just what I was thinking when you said that. I think they're leaning too much on KD. They're defaulting to him because he's the seasoned veteran and he's got so many game-winning shots. But that time, I think that ship has sailed. I don't think he's the closer anymore.
They have a flaw in their roster.
Greg, I was wondering about their coaching.
Yeah.
Number one, that fourth quarter, the Lakers got 17 and the Rockets had 12. That was horrible to me.
Yeah.
After a great first 3 quarters. But even though they were double teaming KD every time, Houston made no adjustments. And they were holding the ball to like 5 seconds left in the shot clock every time. Durant, he didn't adjust. And I was looking at their coach, who I have a lot of respect for. Let's try something different.
Yeah.
And that wasn't just that game. That's how it's been for the fourth half of the second half of this season. That's just how their games have gone. They play people tough for a while, but they don't finish. So I don't know. That's why I took
maybe he's not as good a coach as you think.
Well, I just think they got a personnel issue on that team. Plus, the other day against the Lakers, Sengun didn't play. He's one of their best players, obviously.
He's become really good.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's become really good. Okay, Eastern Conference, 4 teams. Greg.
So I got Pistons, Celtics, Knicks, and as much as I hate to pick them, but there's nobody else that you can pick, the Cavaliers. I think the Cavaliers, I think they're hard. I think their coach is horrible. I think they're still living off of Bickerstaff. I think he sucks. I think he's terrible. But they got great players, but and Mitchell, I'm a Mitchell fan. I think Donovan Mitchell should be in the running for MVP every year, man. Plus he dates Coco Jones. So I mean, how can you not love him for that, man? The dude's dating Coco Jones. But I just think that the Cavaliers, man, it's such a waste of talent.
Larry.
I'll go with the same teams. I really think it's really 3 teams that separate themselves, which are Boston, New York, and Detroit.
Yeah.
But if I have to pick a 4th team, I'll go ahead with Cleveland. Magic, I expected more out of, and they've kind of disappointed me this year. Cleveland's probably the 4th team there.
And Chuck.
I agree with them. But I don't think Cleveland, I think Cleveland is more in this than they do. And now that they've got Harden at the point, they've played a little bit better. I think that was a good addition for them this year. And I think with 15 games more to go, they're going to be okay if they're healthy. They got a good squad. They got a lot of talent on that team.
They're going to be very good.
The team that makes me nervous, and they're only 5-5 over the last 10 games, is Detroit. I like Detroit. I want to love them. but their roster just doesn't do it for me, and they've been struggling a little bit lately. So
you still can't identify the players, right?
no, I can't. I know.
That's why I'm going to the game tomorrow night.
That doesn't mean they're not good. That doesn't mean they're not good. They got a good team.
Yeah. But Chuck, every time I hear somebody say James Harden's name, I want to play the Kobe Bryant clip. That his style of play allows defenses to collapse, and the NBA is too good. The players are too good for one player to hold the ball as long as he does. You can't do that. That's going to prohibit you from winning. And he said, I mean, that's Kobe's words.
Right.
That style of play will not win a championship. Period. End of
But
story.
Greg, he's got Mitchell on his team now, and so he doesn't have to do that much offensively. Mitchell can do that.
He's going to have to do something.
I hope you're right.
But Mitchell can be that scorer.
Well,
I just hope Mitchell doesn't defer to him. I hope Mitchell remains.
He doesn't. And one thing Harden is pretty good at is passing the ball. I've noticed that.
Yeah.
His problem now is on the defensive end.
Right.
Well,
He can't really guard anybody.
Yeah, he's always been a matador of sorts.
all right. Boston, Detroit, Cleveland, and Orlando. I'm not giving the Knicks any credit.
Well,
Down with the Knickerbockers, huh?
again,
Down
David.
with the
David. Again, you can see me after the show. You know.
You know everybody
And
in the
I'll
universe
tell
can
you
hear.
the truth.
You know everybody in the universe can hear this, right?
Oh, my bad.
Now, I'm saying that to David.
Hey, Orlando.
This is the World Wide Web. They're here. You come to
The
your
World Wide Web.
Amen. All right. Did you guys watch the World Baseball Classic games?
Yes.
Yes.
Let me go with our baseball expert, Larry Abels. What'd you think?
Oh, very good baseball. Very competitive games. The team that surprised me the most was Italy. I didn't know anything about them. I expected Venezuela, U.S., and Dominican to be good, but Italy really showed up, especially in the opening rounds. Great baseball.
Chuck.
The kid from Italy had 3 home runs in that one big game, didn't he? Yeah. Does he play in the pros, by the way?
Yes.
Oh, he does? Okay.
I think almost about 70% of those players play in Major League Baseball.
Wow.
I believe. I'm throwing out a figure.
Right.
I might be right.
Look, last night I saw snippets of a lot of the other games, but last night I watched the whole game. And I just thought it was cool on all the levels. I thought the defense was good. I thought the crowd was cool. I thought the culture was cool. To think that game was in Miami, and yet Venezuela felt like they had their home field advantage.
They need to win something.
Bless their hearts, right?
They
I don't
need to
know.
win
I just like this
something.
whole. In terms of the time of year that this tournament is in place, I just think it's perfect. I really do, and I like it. And I do know that some ownerships of the major league teams won't let the pitchers throw too much because they don't want them to throw their arms out.
And that makes sense.
That makes sense, right? But it didn't take away from it for me. And when that kid hit that double in the gap for Venezuela, after Harper had hit the dinger in the eighth, I just thought it was cool as hell. I did. I really did. So
Now they play this every 3 years. I haven't paid attention to it. They've been playing this World Baseball Classic for 20 years or so. But this is the first year I've really paid any real attention. What do you think, Greg?
So, first of all, I can't believe how into baseball. I mean, I love baseball. I watch baseball, but I never thought that I would be this just fired up about. This is like I felt like a FIFA World Cup soccer fan watching baseball. It was so exciting, and I tell you, dude, when that guy ripped that double, Chuck, it ripped my heart out, man. And Bryce Harper's coming up, I'm like, come on, Bryce. I know you got another dinger left in you. Come on, Bryce. And he smoked it. I mean, when I say, and then of course Judge steps up, and I'm like, Judge, Judgment Day, baby. Come on, let it rip. And he goes down looking. I said, you know what?
That's kind of his history.
I need another drink. I mean, one thing you can say about Mr. October, he may have struck out, but he went down swinging. Mr. October never went down looking. He went down swinging. But it was just so exciting, man. And I'm telling you, outraged that people are outraged at Aaron Judge for saying this is bigger and better than the World Series. Now, you got to, I think for Aaron Judge, this was he's never played in the Olympics, baseball Olympics. He's never played in that. So he doesn't know the feeling of international competition. But if you watch the Ryder Cup, if you watch FIFA World Cup, these folks around the world to international games. And I'm telling you, the Ryder Cup, it's amazing how those players may not have won a tournament all year, but when they get in the Ryder Cup, they're dropping 18-foot putts. I mean, not missing a fairway. So,
crowd is into it.
Yeah, so I think we got a taste of that with this World Cup, this World Baseball. It was just, I mean, I loved it. And boy, I'm telling you, though, back to your point, Chuck, when that boy hit that double, I mean, and it was pure. It was.
He put his arms up at second base. He said, "Thank God." You know, he was
this
just
guy
so
was
happy.
ready to go to heaven. Sell my clothes, Jesus. I'm coming with you.
Well, let me ask you guys this. What was it about this season, this baseball classic, as opposed to 3 years ago, 6 years ago? What was the difference?
Well, I was into it last time, David, and I happened to be down in San Juan last year when Puerto Rico played the Dominican Republic. That's almost like the Yankees and the Dodgers. I mean, both of those islands are baseball crazy places.
Yeah.
And I started noticing, and what I got into it last year, and it made me realize these are like all-star teams playing each other. Because both of those islands had great players, and this year it just kind of expanded. I knew Venezuela had a good team. I knew Puerto Rico had good players. I knew Dominican. And certainly the U.S., right? Again, like I said, I didn't know Italy. And it just seemed like we have all these all-star teams. When you look at the lineups on these teams, it's like great. And it's like all-star games where the players actually more than win.
Well, let me ask you guys just a general question. What does this do, the success of the World Baseball Classic, because I think it was a success, what does it do for baseball in general?
That's a good question.
Oh, I think it absolutely ignites baseball. I think this has the ability to do for baseball what the Ryder Cup does for golf. I mean, you may even find yourself rooting for Judge for some redemption for striking out, or if a team has a lot of Venezuelan players on it, you may want to beat them just a little bit more just because they whooped our ass in the World Cup. You know, the World Baseball Classic. I just think it adds energy. And baseball, the purists are the ones who got angry at Aaron Judge for saying what he said. And the purists in golf have learned that the PGA Tour needed to be shaken up. They needed to be shaken up by this Live Cup. I mean, this Live Tour. That changed the game. All of a sudden, they got to realize that they're not the only game in town, and that these players will go around the world and play in different places. But I'm glad somebody else didn't know that Italy had great. I mean, you asked me about Italians and baseball, I would say Joe DiMaggio, and that's as far as I can go. I mean,
There you go.
I never knew, but this was exciting, man. This was really exciting.
There was one thing that happened in this thing that I found interesting, and maybe you guys have more insight into it. So Kyle Riley was the catcher. His teammate from Seattle was up at bat. And his teammate from Seattle just went to reach us, just say, hey, they're teammates, right, in Seattle. And Riley wouldn't speak to him, wouldn't shake his hand, wouldn't acknowledge him. And
Good for him.
It just seemed very, I thought it was uncool. And in fact, the player, his teammate, he had some post comments to say afterwards about that. He didn't think that was cool at all.
Well, he'd get over it. He needs to get over it.
I think it's the intensity. I think that's a sense of how intense this is and how bad these guys want to win.
Taking it seriously.
I think it's just the intensity of it. I mean, you see the same thing with the Ryder Cup, man. These guys are neighbors in Orlando. They live in the same neighborhoods. They're not buddied up during the Ryder Cup. They don't even look at each other. Oh no, they don't.
Did Cal Riley play last night? Because I didn't remember hearing his name.
I didn't see him. I don't think he did. I didn't see him. I know he didn't bat. No, he didn't bat, so I know he did.
I didn't hear his name. I don't know why he didn't play. Anyway,
I'm looking at Italy's team. Out of the 15 players I see, 2 of them were born in Italy. The rest of them were born in the U.S.
Well, that would explain it then. Okay, all right. That explains it.
To answer your question, David, I think in Venezuela and certainly the Dominican Republic, that sport is already large. Hopefully in the U.S., people will pay more attention to it. But in those other places, I think it's probably next to soccer the most exciting.
And it's large in Japan. It's large in South Korea.
They've won it 3 times. They've won it 3 times,
right.
and everybody else has won it only once.
Yeah, I've not been mentioning them. Yeah, they're really good. I guess South Korea has a pretty good following there too.
Oh, absolutely. Well, they certainly show up in the Little League World Series.
They do.
All right. The end has come, gentlemen. I know you have some closing comments. Let me start with you, Larry. You have a closing comment.
I don't have any this week.
You're the voice of reason.
Well, I used mine when we were talking about the NCAA, about the teams that win their conference champions, having to play in the playing game.
All right, so you gave us a pre-closing comment. All right, Greg. Greg, can you hear us? Okay.
I'll jump in and see, maybe Greg will catch up. I just have 2 quick, and they're not even, they're just mentions. I want to shout out Howard University. Again, and we mentioned it before the show, or maybe even during the show, this is their first time winning a game in the tournament, and they're going to show up this Friday against Michigan in the tournament. And I think the head coach of Howard, I think this might be his 4th title that he's won since he's gotten out of 5 in the last 5 years, Kenny Blakeney. So shout out to Howard to show up and represent, and their ladies are in the tournament as well. So shout out to Howard University. And the other one I want to shout out is, and we'll talk about this later on as we get closer to the NBA, but Wemby, we're going to talk about Wemby a lot going forward, because every single time I see this guy, I cannot believe what I see. He's phenomenal in every stretch of the imagination. And if that kid stays healthy over the next few years, look out. So Wemby and Howard University, I just wanted to mention them.
All right. Greg, you hear us? All right. I think we got a technical problem with Greg Finner's microphone and his ability to hear us. We'll close with this. I've got a closing comment, and I'm really appreciative of Michael B. Jordan,
All right.
the Academy Award winner. Why am I saying Michael B. Jordan is my closing comment? Because he has one of the great iconic sports names, except the B. And he's a pretty good athlete. He showed that in Creed movies, the Creed movie series. He looks like an athlete.
So that's kind of staged.
Hey, I like him. Now, he follows in the footsteps of Sidney Poitier, Denzel Washington, Forrest Whitaker, Jamie Foxx, Will Smith, and he's the 6th African-American to win Best Actor. Michael B. Jordan, congratulations. Got a quick question for you guys.
Go.
Who was the first African? You should be able to know this. Who was the first?
Go ahead.
Who's the first African-American to win the Academy Award? Larry, I'll start with you because I know Chuck.
This is a non-sports question, man. I don't know who. Sidney Poitier.
Wrong.
I think it was Hattie McQueen, Hattie
McDaniel.
Hattie McDaniels.
For Gone with the Wind, she played Mammy. 1940, she won. And the movie was 1939. And with that, and I'm sorry that we can't get Greg Finner. We'll work on his technical problems next week. We will see you next week at 7:00 for Real Fellas Talk Sports.
I'm hosting next week.
I believe you are.
I think
If
so.
not, let me know.
No, I think I am.
All right.
Good job.
Good night.
Enjoy
Good
the
night,
tournament,
everybody.
everybody. Enjoy the tournament.